guys, so like I said the other day, Blazing Vortex is fully out now in terms of the set list and the cards and everything that the OCG has. I'm still working my way through it. I didn't want to just throw everything into one video, but I picked some of the new cards and sort of put them in this one. And then I have another video coming out later today that's going to take a look at the new Pot of Disparity card. I think that one kind of warrants its own video a little bit. It's a neat card. It has some really cool synergy with some other things, and I'm interested to talk about it and kind of showcase it for you guys. But these are all brand new cards in Blazing Vortex. Before we get into the video, if you guys have not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have already smashed the goal that we were expecting for November 1st, and we only have 47 hours to go. So as long as we're still at 3,100 by the start of the month, I will be announcing a giveaway for the month of November, and anyone who is subscribed will have a chance to win. Stay tuned for details on that. Assuming, like I said, that we hit that goal and everything, then I will put the details up on that for Halloween night, probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that sub button. That being said, let's jump into the video. And this first one has some neat artwork. Now, I'm going to mess this name up for sure, but it's Amato Kujaki. Level 3 Fiend Tuner. So it's Tour Guide target. It's a light monster. Has some synergy there with Fabled in terms of typing, if that matters. Reads as follows. You cannot activate the effects of other special summon monsters with the same attribute as this card. Once per turn, during this card's owner's main phase, quick effect, you can give control of this card to your opponent. Then you can change this card's attribute to any attribute until the end of the next turn. So, you have this on the field, you can give it to your opponent and declare water, and then your opponent cannot activate the effects of any special summoned water monsters that they control. That's kind of neat in concept, but we don't have a lot of cards that do that. There's a few cards that switch control, things like Mushroom Man #2 and other random cards like that, but this actually puts somewhat of a good restriction on the opponent. The thing is that this doesn't really stop your opponent from just summoning a monster and making a link with it. So, like, you can actually just give them this, they summon a monster, they can make Halqifibrax with any monster. They have a tuner. It doesn't do anything to prevent your opponent from just being able to completely take advantage of it. And it doesn't have, like, it doesn't restrict the actual special summoning. So if you have this, and I'm playing quite literally any deck that can normal summon a monster, I just summon it, link away, and that's it. And you get rid of the problem. So while it's cool looking and has some neat art, it doesn't do anything. But I do like the concept, because I think the idea of, like, switching control to the opponent, triggering an effect, that's unique. And we don't have a lot of unique ideas anymore that come out, at least not in the last couple of sets. So I'd like to see them expand upon this concept, but if you're going to play a card that's reliant on giving it to your opponent in order to generate you some kind of advantage, it needs to do more than just lock out special summon monsters of one specific attribute. Next one is Fluorescence. That's a mouthful. It's a level 4 light dragon, 1600 attack, 800 defense. Not the best stats. When this card is normal summoned while your opponent controls a monster, you can discard one card. Send any number of fluorescence from your deck to the graveyard. Once per turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can make this card become dark until the end of the turn. Alright, so this is actually really neat. You summon this, your opponent controls a monster, you discard a card, you mill a couple of these, and you're immediately set up for chaos plays. So you can change one to dark, leave the other as light. You can change 3 to dark, you can change 3 to light, however you want to do it. You can summon Levianeer, and it triggers only off a normal summon. My problem is that it requires the opponent to control a monster, so it's not like you could do some kind of, play where you're milling, setting up, and dropping a, not so much like DLS, but like, any chaos monster, realistically. I mean, there's so many. It synergizes with the little Chaos Dragons, Wyverburster, and Collapse Serpent, among others. So it's definitely a really cool card. I like the art, and I think, just on paper, it seems good. Like, it seems like it's going to provide a boost to Chaos decks, but I'm hesitant on that, reliant on the opponent controlling a monster and the normal summon specifics. I guess you could argue that maybe it'd be a little bit unfair if it was any other setup, but it looks like a card that might be worth keeping an eye on, because it's a light, it's a dragon, it can become a dark, and chaos is always going to be something that people are looking to and having, interest in. So keep an eye on this one. I have bookmarked this. I don't know. This could end up being pretty good. All right, we got another Evil Machina monster. This one is Unclaspare. I don't know how you pronounce it. Level 4 Dark Machine. So now they have 3 level 4s that are darks. You can definitely find ways to incorporate Allure of Darkness into that deck if you want to. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. But you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except machine monsters. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Machina monster from your deck to the graveyard except itself. Okay. Second effect is cool, right? You can get Fortress Engrave, you can get Citadel Engrave, it's definitely got some utility. First effect, like it, but I hate that extra restriction. If they didn't add the part that said you can only special summon machines for the rest of the turn, this would be a really, really solid card for the deck, because it would give you the ability to extend, it would give you the ability to make your plays do more than just, you know, end on a board where you're waiting to drop a Citadel, or you're maybe putting a Gigant out. It just is limiting for a card that doesn't really need to be. The hard ones per turn is enough that, you know, if you're finding ways to get this to your hand, whether it's with Gear Frame or others, you really shouldn't have to worry about those additional restrictions. Will Machina play it? I don't know. I mean, the deck seems to have a pretty solid engine and sort of core focus with Metal Cruncher among others, but it's not a terrible card by any means. I just wish they hadn't given it that restriction. So, on the fence about this one, I think as a whole, that deck has a lot of different ways to be built. It definitely does give you, you know, synergy in the sense that you can special something and then make a rank 4 machine, but I am not sold that this is going to be a game changer. Next up, Paladin of Armed Dragon. Everyone gets a Paladin, apparently. This is level 4 Ritual Wind. You can Ritual Summon this card with Armed Dragon Ritual, which is there. We'll take a look at that in a second. If this card battles a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can shuffle that monster into the deck. Not bad, non-targeting removal, so it can get around Dragoon, although Dragoon can negate it, so I mean, you get force Dragoon to negate, I suppose, which isn't bad. But it can also, you know, force negates on any big, you know, boss monsters that are going to shut you down. You contribute this card, special summon one level 5 or higher Wind Dragon monster from your hand or deck. Of note, Tempest comes to mind. I'm sure there's a lot of other Wind Dragon monsters that I'm not even thinking of right now. Any Armed Dragon support, obviously. Seems like he directly supports that Armed Dragon stuff, and they're in the same set, so he's cool. I think being a ritual definitely hinders him, but he is a pre-prep target, so you can search him and his ritual spell together at the same time. Maybe something to look at there. Overall, though, I think having access to any level 5 or higher Wind Dragon means that his future potential is at least, you know, noteworthy for what he could do. And then lastly, this one, Armored Dragon Ritual. You can use this card to Ritual Summon Paladin of Armored Dragon. Tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 4 or more, so just standard. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the grave, you can banish monsters from your hand or face-up field whose total levels equal 4 or more. Then banish this card from the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Paladin of Armored Dragon. So he can revive Paladin of Armored Dragon later in the game, and he can banish from field or hand, so, I mean, I kind of wish you could banish from grave. I don't understand why they would put that, you know, specific restriction there. It's not like this card is game breaking, and he does have his own limits and restrictions too, but I don't know. I mean, it seems neat. I'm always happy to see Armed Dragon support, and it's definitely got some badass artwork on both of these, but I don't know that, you know, even if the deck does see play, that this is going to be something they look to. So overall, that's just some new cards in Blazing Vortex. There are more. I will try to cover them all. I promise you I'm paying attention to it. I just didn't want to make a video that was too long, so just spotlighting some of the new stuff. I definitely like the potential of this card more than anything else I've showcased in the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm excited to continue going through the set. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here at Love Show.